Samsung Galaxy S9 might be on the way, but I've had the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus since launch, and I want to help you decide if it's still worth it now that it'll be discounted. Coming up right now, let's go. Oh, what is up, guys? Nick here. Let's begin with the build quality. Up at the top, you can see there's a scratch up at the top. So just a little scratch up there, no big deal. Along the sides, you can see there is nothing going on here with this device. So build quality is pretty strong, I would say, in that aspect. At the bottom where I did charge the port, that thing got a little bit too scratched up for my style. So I would say, you're gonna get a little scuffs there if you do get a Galaxy S8. You might even get one, already has a little scuffs on here if you buy it used or refurbished. But over here, I do have a scuff at the top left corner. You can't really see it too much. And the bottom display is just fine, but there are some micro scratches in the display, which are not very noticeable unless you see it in the right light. But overall, build quality is held up just fine over the duration of 10 months of use. Really strong glass as well. I dropped it straight on its back and it didn't crack one time, but I still wouldn't recommend using this phone without a case. Now, design overall, in terms of how it looks and stuff, definitely does not look stale at all. It actually still looks better than the iPhone 8 and 8 Plus, in my opinion, in terms of the design. So this whole year going on into 2019, you're gonna be fine when it comes to this phone looking super fresh, and you're gonna get it at a discounted price with that flush camera design, curved display. It's definitely a looker here, even though it's not even a year old, but it's gonna be a year old, and it's still easily one of the best designs in the business here for the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. What about the display on this device? So yes, Samsung S9 comes out, best display ever on a smartphone. The iPhone 10 did better than this one according to multiple sources. However, I find this one still to be plenty amazing if you're gonna buy it now. It does err a little bit on the red side, but overall, it's a pretty fantastic, sharp 2K panel. I do find that it's no longer easy to resist fingerprints on the front of this device, as it was a little bit better in the beginning, but that kind of wore off now. And I do really enjoy these adaptive display modes, AMOLED photo. I do actually switch between these. Some people probably always leave it in the saturated mode, but I find those to be very handy. And I do sometimes go down to 1080p when I want to save some battery life, which is a nice option to have on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. So I love that feature on pretty much any Samsung device. But you can go ahead and watch videos in the full screen just by pinching on YouTube now. That feature was kind of a little bubble Samsung included when they first launched the phone, but YouTube updated. So this is really easy to watch YouTube videos in the full screen mode now. And it does have the edge panel as well on this display. So on the whole, this thing is really just loaded in terms of the quality of display, what you can actually interact with on the edge panel. And watching videos, reading text always was a pleasure on this panel. So this is definitely a super win here, and I don't think it's going to be that much worse than buying a Samsung Galaxy S9, so you're getting a good deal. So let's talk about software here with the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. This is one area that has disappointed me, not because the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus is not a feature-packed phone. It definitely is. It's because this device has not have a software up to Android 8.0 yet, and the Pixel 2 has been out for months with Android 8.0. That's usually the device to first see it on. Sometimes you see it on other devices, but at the same time, it's been several months since the software has been out, and it's still not here on one of the best rated phones according to a lot of sources, of the year of 2017. So, with more Samsung users coming over to Samsung, more Apple users, more other, brands coming over to use Samsung devices for the first time. If you don't want them to go back, Samsung, you need to get on these software updates. You heard it here first, though probably not first, but let's talk about the camera here. Now, this is a flush design camera, so I do love that here, but how is it performed in the real world? 4K, 12 megapixels. It takes fast photos. It's got the dual pixel AF, which basically means that you can, tap this camera, double quick launch right here, and it's gonna find that focus point extremely fast, very similar to the Canon technology on those devices. Now, don't get confused when I say Canon. I'm not trying to say the pictures are gonna come out as sharp as a Canon, because the sensor size is physically smaller, letting less light into the camera. The S9 also has the same sensor, but it will let more light in. So that phone also will shoot very similar photos, just better at night than the S8 Plus. So buying this phone right now, you're gonna get a bunch of stickers, you're gonna get pro mode, you can call these cheesy, whatever you want. They all work pretty well, and it's a fun camera to use while also being a pretty serious camera if you want to take some good photos. Now, the front-facing camera, a little bit disappointing in low light, but when you are in the daytime, it can do just fine. You got wide selfie modes, which can, get a whole group in there, and you got selective focus on the front, which doesn't work all that well, but it still can emulate something of a portrait here on the S8 Plus. Now, battery life, cannot forget about this when talking about my experience, and I love the battery life here on the Galaxy S8 Plus. Without talking about the specification of the battery, I can just tell you that in the real world experience, this device was never one that left me thinking if I didn't leave with 100% charge, I'm not gonna get through the day. This is one of those phones that I could rely on to easily get me through the day. However, if you do beat on it, meaning you're watching videos on full brightness, you're playing video games for hours, it will drain down as any phone will, but it's definitely a road warrior in the S8 Plus. And the speaker is tinny. Let's just put it that way. We know stereo sound's coming to the S9, one of the biggest improvements. The headphone jack's nice to have still, but it's easy to cover that up, and this is an area that could see improvement, which it did. So we're not gonna knock it too much because they did improve it. But the face unlock biometric scanning does work well, again, in good lighting, but this definitely tweaks up when you get into low light or you get in certain situations, like when you're wearing certain glasses that can't find you and things like that. But overall, I found the face unlock to be okay, just not amazing. Now, the fingerprint scanner, though, while a lot of people complained about this fingerprint scanner is actually very accurate once you locate in muscle memory where it actually is. And I didn't find myself smudging the camera too much after I got used to this. So I found the fingerprint scanner to not be much of a problem, regardless of all the media saying that, oh, it's a horrible location. It still remains not that great, but I found it to be okay. Phone call quality, as with most Samsung devices I've used in the past, has been on point, and this one is no different after 10 months. So overall, the Galaxy S8 Plus, 10 months later, it's a device that'll lure you in the store. It's got those good looks, but under the hood, sometimes this device does hiccup when it comes to slight micro jitters and slight little twitches here and there on the device. So performance could be a little bit better. iPhone has got this phone beat, as well as phones like the OnePlus 5T and the Google Pixel, but where they don't have this phone beat is in design. Overall package, this phone just offers everything, in one deal here in the Samsung Galaxy. So that's one area where Samsung can't be beat with this phone. So if you're the type of person who wants to get, a lot of features, great design, but can deal with just a slight, little performance twitch here and there, you don't care about that little stuff, then this is gonna be the phone for you. Anyway, if you found this helpful, thumbs up down below. Nick here helping you to master your technology. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I will catch you all in the next one, and peace.